Hello everyone, welcome to episode 11 of Reading Layamon Brut. First of all, I apologise that there was no episode last time. Semester has started here, so these episodes will now be released on a fortnightly basis. I'll still aim to do one a week, but we'll see how that goes. Last time, we had a number of adventures at sea. The Trojans were attacked by pirates, they engaged in a bit of piracy themselves in Africa, and then they encountered the mermaids. After that, they managed to survive, and they arrived in Spain, where they met up with another group of Trojans. These had followed Antenor after the fall of Troy, and they were currently led by somebody named Corineus, who is described as very strong and large and imposing, and as we'll find out today, has a few issues with his temper. But then after that, they all decided to join up and go together, and they continued on their way to find the land of Albion that Diana, the goddess Diana, told Brutus about in his dream. And they landed in Brittany in France, which at the time was called Armorica. And that's where we will pick up today. Seven nicht and enedai, Brutus i thar havene lie, and he sende jand that lond, and showered thar leerden. Gofar than king of Pyters, nes hit noch die quema, that he sech swulche sonden faren jand his londa. The king heicht his wiese men, the well couthen aspercha, that he to thar sa ferten, there thar ferte lie. And he wusten at thon knichten, wet he there suchten. Whither he walden halden grieth, and greten des londes king, there he wulden mid withere than king withstonden. Numbert hecht the aldermon, the shoulder this ernde don. 7 nights and 1 day Brutus lay in the harbour, and he sent throughout that land, and showered is the word showed. However, it's one of those words where it has the opposite sense from what it has now. So it means not to appear, but to look at, to see. So the messengers who were sent throughout the land saw the people. It was not at all pleasing to Goffar, the king of Poitou. It wasn't pleasing that he saw such messengers go throughout his land. The king commanded his wise men, who knew well, or were skilled well in speech, he commanded that they go to the sea where the army lay, the army of the Trojans, and know or learn from the knights, at the knights, but we need to translate this as from the knights, what they sought there, whether they wished to hold peace and greet the king of this land, or whether they wished with hostility to stand against the king. Numbert, the leader or the dignitary, the official, was called, who must do or carry out this task. Corineus was he faren toward, and draf there the wilde der, mit hornen en mit hunden, en mit 500 knichten. I metten her faren Numbert, des kinges sonde of that erd, Numbert hem to klepede, mit ludere stevne. Honen bea je knichtes, je fareth mit unricht, je huntieth I des kinges friede, therefore je schullen bean fai. Je doth an king muchel shome, therefore je schullen han grome. Verboden he haveth his der frieth, therefore je schullen lieden stief. Corineus I werth him roth, and wende him to Janus, and seide des ilke word mit muchelure retha. Corineus had gone to the forest, and drove there the wild animals, in this case probably deer though, just because of what we're going to be told shortly. He drove them with horns, and with hounds, and with 500 knights. They met Numbert going, so travelling. Numbert, the messenger of the king of that land. Numbert called to them with a loud voice, "Whence," so where have you come from? "Whence are ye knights? Where have you come from, you knights? You go or conduct yourselves with unright," so in an improper fashion. You've done something wrong, the wrong way. "You hunt in the a frith can be any sort of land that's allocated for a purpose, so it can be something like a meadow, but it can also be a park or a forest. In this case, probably forest. So you hunt in the forest of this king, therefore ye shall be doomed. You do the king a great insult, therefore you must have wrath or fury. You have incurred his anger. He has forbidden or prohibited his dear forest, therefore you must lie stiff, dead. Corineus became himself very angry, or just angry, and he went against him being Numbert, and said this very word with great anger. "Knecht, thou art muchel sot, that thou swa motest. If the king hit have it forboden, ne shall him never bear the bet. Ne now it for his forbode, nulle it hit beleven, to nemen his hertes and his hindes, and all the dare that each finde. Thy rethede Numbert, the king's steward of that erd, he led on his hand and a bow was strong, and he then a streng up bride, balu come on faste. On he sette an a fla, and he found the liche droog, and the fla let a gliden, be Corineus siden." So Corineus speaking here, "Knight, you are a great fool that you speak so, that you speak like this. If the king has forbidden or prohibited it, it shall not ever be the better for him." So this is going to cause problems for him. "I will not leave it," so stop it, or stop what I'm doing, "at all, not a bit, for his command, for his prohibition." So what is it? We jump down to the next line. So the it that Corineus will not stop doing is he will not stop to take the king's harts and his hinds, so his deer, and all the animals that I find. Then Numbert became enraged. Numbert, who was the steward of the king of that land. Numbert he brought in his hand a strong bow, and he pulled or drew up the string, so he drew it back. Destruction or evil, bad things came on quickly. He set an arrow on the string, and he fiendishly or strongly, powerfully drew it back, and caused the arrow to fly by Corineus's side. Corineus blindte, and then a shooter be berg, and towards Numbert he lep, swilchit and leon were, and then a bow we grab, mid muchele strengthe. He smote Numbert mid thun bow, that his heft bone to break, that his blood and his brine bar weren to dashte. Fluchen his he feren fand liche swithe, to thon king a gofar, and seiden hine teethen de sar, that his slauen was Numbert, there was his owen steward. The king was swithe sari and sergful on mode, and sende his son jand his kinelond, gadderede his ferte, there weren men fie. Corineus ducked or dodged and defended himself, or pushed aside or something like that, warded off the shot, and he leapt towards Numbert as though it or he were a lion. And gripped the bow, or seized the bow, with great strength. He smote Numbert with the bow, so that his head bone, his skull, broke apart, and so that his blood and his brain both were dashed to pieces, dashed apart, or into bits. His Numbert's companions flew or fled fiendishly, or very fiendishly, so extremely quickly. They got out of there. They fled to the King Goffar and said to him the sorrowful tiding that Numbert was or had been slain, Numbert who was his own steward. The king was very sorrowful, and sorrowful in his mind. He sent his messengers throughout his kingdom to gather his army. So we have here a past tense because this is the future in the past. He sent them to gather his army, where men were doomed. The Ferda was isumned, and her forthfusden, toward sele Brutun, der he bisa wonede. Brutus was swithe war for wisdom him fullede, haures he sende to hirede des kinges, to witsin of his farkost, where he wulde fechten. The haures ferden, and sola eien kommen, and kommen to her laverde, der he lie behavene, and there sword him seiden, als war hit soth iwarth. The army was summoned, and they hastened forth toward fortunate Brutus, where he dwelt or waited by the sea. Brutus was very aware of that, very knowledgeable, for wisdom filled him. He sent spies to the court of the king to know or to learn of his way of doing things, so here essentially what he's up to, where he wished to fight. The spies went and soon came back, and they came to their lord, where he lay by the harbour, and they said this word to him, just as it turned out to be true. And we'll find out what they told him and what came of it all next week. As ever, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, or corrections, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can do that either by way of the comments below the video, or by the Facebook page that I've made for the series, which you'll find linked in the video description. Thank you very much for watching, all the best, and I'll see you next time.